Today I have invited 4 musicians who each play different woodwind instruments as part of a group. The name of this group is Imani Winds, and they have been performing together for more than 20 years. Actually, there are 5 members in this group, but one of them plays a brass instrument that belongs to another family of instruments. We will discover the brass family later this year. The 4 instruments you are going to discover today are the flute, the oboe, the clarinet, and the bassoon. Let's meet our special guests, the members of Imani Winds. I'm sure you will learn some fascinating things about their instruments. Hello, Brandon. I think we should start with you, since you are the flute player, the highest instrument in your group. Can you introduce us to your instrument?
Hi, Miss Ella. I am Brandon, and I am the flute player of Imani Winds. I joined the group in 2018, so about 3 years ago now, and I began playing the flute actually when I was in the 4th grade. And I remember I wanted to play the flute because I was drawn to the beautiful sound that it could make, that it could play very low and very high, that I heard it in cartoons and movies, and that I could join my school's band program that would give me an opportunity to make music with other young students. That was very, very exciting for me. But unfortunately, when I tried out for the band the first time, I could not make a sound. I couldn't make a sound because I couldn't figure out how do we get sound over this thing that we call the head joint. I blew into the head joint, I didn't get anything. I tried to blow on the side of the head joint, I didn't get anything. So it took a long time for me to figure out that the way we get sound on the flute is unlike any other wind instrument, and that's by blowing across the hole. That's like what you do when you blow over a soda bottle and you get this nice low tone, right? That's what we do on the flute. We blow across this hole. And once I figured that out, and then I could make a sound, I could then get excited about the keys. And the keys help us make the tube longer and shorter so that air can escape and play higher or lower. I'll show you. The flute is a woodwind instrument and is in the woodwind family. It is the highest voice in the wind quintet and in the wind section of a symphony orchestra. But you might be wondering, why is the flute considered to be a woodwind instrument? Because the flute that you see here is made out of silver. Well, historically, flutes have been made out of wood. For actually hundreds of years, flutes were made out of wood. And only around, I'd say, the 19th century, so we're talking about in the 1860s, people decided we need an instrument that has more power. We need a flute that can compete with the instruments in the symphony orchestra, with all of those violins and the big brass sections. And concert halls were getting larger, and we needed to have a lot of sound. So composers decided they wanted to write for instruments that had more power. Instrument makers had to find a way to compete. So now we play flutes that are made out of silver, some are made out of gold, and some are even made out of platinum. Sometimes I even play a platinum flute. That's very heavy. The flute, I just love the flute that it allows me to play beautiful melodies and lots of fast, happy passages. Sometimes it sounds like a bird, but I'm going to play for you a little bit that sounds very melodic so that you can get to hear the sound of the flute.
Thank you, Brandon. What a beautiful sound the flute makes. Do you remember which instrument sits next to the flute in the orchestra? It is the oboe. Let's meet Toyan and learn about this unusual instrument.
Hello, Miss Ella, and hello to the students of the Harmony at Home program. I am holding in my hands the oboe. Oboe! The oboe is a double reed instrument, and this is a double reed. Why is that important? Because the double reed is where I make the sound of the oboe. This is two pieces of wood that are put together. See how there are two pieces here? And I blow in the little hole in between them. And blowing in that hole makes a sound that makes the whole oboe work. Now you put that glorious sound into the oboe and it sounds really beautiful. Oh. Now, the oboe has not that many notes when it's compared to its friends, the bassoon or the clarinet. It only has a very small range. But because we have a small range, we have to do a lot with the little we have. And so that's a kind of good lesson for life. Sometimes you have to do a lot with just a little. So listen to the range of the oboe, and I will give you also a range of the dynamics and the range of the kind of feelings we can create with the oboe. That is the gorgeous oboe. Now, let's talk beauty. There is a beautiful song that we all are going to play for you, and Brandon just played it so beautifully. It's called Afro Blue, and I think it sounds really great on the oboe. Shall we hear it? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toyan, for this lovely demonstration. Could you see and hear how different the flute and the oboe are from each other? Let's meet the third member of the group, and you will see that here again, this next instrument is very different from the flute and the oboe you just met. Hello, Mark. We have already met your friends who play the flute and the oboe, and we would love to hear from you about the clarinet.
Hi, Miss Ella, and hello to all the Harmony at Home students. My name is Mark, and I play this instrument here, the clarinet. It's an instrument that I really love. I've been playing it for over 20 years. So let's talk about it. How do I create my sound on this instrument? Well, every sound needs a vibration, right? And the key to making that vibration with this instrument is this thing here, the reed. So, without the reed, I get nothing. And with just the reed alone, right, I also get nothing. But when I take the reed and I put it on the mouthpiece here, you'll start to hear a sound. Check this out. Right, so now we have a vibration, we have a sound. It doesn't sound great yet though, right? So I'm gonna add one more piece to the clarinet. And you hear the sound getting lower, right, and darker. And then when I add the full clarinet, now we have the full sound of the instrument, right? What I love about this instrument is that it can play super, super quiet and very loud, pretty low, and also really high. So it has a huge range, both in terms of the notes it can play and how loud it can play them. So check this out. This is soft and really loud, right? And here's pretty low. And really high, right? So that's the range. I love that about the instrument. You also can hear this instrument in all different kinds of music, from classical music like this, even to jazz music. Right? And you hear it in klezmer music, folk music all around the country and the world. It's just really an amazing instrument. So I'm going to play you off with a song that we play in my wind quintet, Imani Winds, called Afro Blue. And you can hear the clarinet in a different context. Check this out. All right, so that's the clarinet in a nutshell. I hope you guys have a chance to one day try this instrument or at least get to listen to it as much as you can. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Mark. I have to confess that the clarinet is my favorite of all instruments, because that's the instrument that I play. So we already know about the flute, the oboe, and the clarinet. We still need to meet the fourth and final wind instrument, the one that plays the lowest pitches. Let's meet Monica, the bassoon player.
Hi, Miss Ella, and hello to all the Harmony at Home students. My name is Monica Ellis, and I play the bassoon. The bassoon is a really special instrument, so I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about it. Firstly, the way that the bassoon makes it sound is very similar to another instrument in the wind family, and that instrument is the oboe. The oboe and the bassoon are kind of related in that we both play on a double reed. This double reed causes the vibration for all the sound to happen for the bassoon. Now, this vibration on the double reed is a little strange, but I want to play it for you anyway. It sounds like this. Not so good by itself, but the bassoon really needs it because without it, nothing happens. So when we put the double reed on the bassoon, we hope some beautiful music will be made. Now the range of the bassoon is pretty large. As you can see, it's a big instrument. So the bigger the instrument, the lower it goes. But the fact that the air goes through this tube and then down here and it wraps back around and comes out the other side kind of makes this two instruments in one. So for that reason, the bassoon can play really low, but it also plays really high. It has about a 3.5 octave range. So I'll play you the lowest note on the instrument, and then I'll go all the way up to one of the highest notes. Now, it can be a pretty technical instrument, the bassoon. It can play music that is really classical, like Mozart, And what's pretty cool about it is that it can also play kind of a funky bass line. Now I'll play for you a little song called Afro Blue. Hope you enjoy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Monica. The rich sound of the bassoon has a lot of personality.